Hello, hi, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. Congratulations on making it to the last conference of the day, last but certainly not the least. So this afternoon, we are talking about creating a deepfake future that we can feel good about. I'm very excited to introduce your speaker for today. They are the co-founder and CEO of DeepMedia, which is one of, if not the world's most advanced synthetic media company, which aims to create and enhance cross-cultural content while ensuring transparency through generative AI and proprietary machine learning technology. There's a lot more to the company than that, but I don't want to take away from their presentation. Named one of Forbes' next 1,000 winners in 2021, it's an honor for me to present to you today Rijul Gupta.
Hi, and thank you for that introduction. Very excited to be here today, and a big thanks to the whole Montreal Connect team for having me. I am here today to talk about a deepfake future that we can feel good about. Some of you may know what deepfakes are, and some of you may not, but I'm sure most of you have seen the fake faces and video content that's gone viral on YouTube and TikTok. Fake Tom Cruise videos, a Kendrick Lamar music video where his face changes, videos of international leaders like Trudeau and Biden and Putin saying things that they never actually did. Those are deepfakes, the ability to hyper-realistically create synthetically manipulated faces and voices that can make anyone say anything. Now that sounds really, really scary, and it is scary, but I'm here to tell you that the technology itself can be applied for the benefit of humanity. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about what this technology means, what it can do, give you an overview of how it works, and then talk about some of the ways that DeepMedia is using the same technology to promote ethics, transparency, and global cooperation. So really what DeepMedia is about is making sure that this technology is used ethically. We were founded in 2017 by myself and my co-founder, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. We went to Yale, where I studied machine learning, she studied linguistics, and we've been friends for over 10 years. In 2017, we decided to found this company to make a real impact in the way that this technology was used. We were seeing it being used all across the board to promote misinformation and disinformation, and that really bothered us. So we made sure, we planted a flag in the ground and said, we're going to figure out ways we can use this technology for good while simultaneously making sure that others can't use it for bad. Again, here's my co-founder, who unfortunately came down with an illness, and with everything going on, she didn't want to risk getting other people sick. But a quick overview of synthetic media. What are deepfakes? Well, deepfakes are a new type of generative AI, generative adversarial network, a machine learning network that takes as input someone's face or voice or text of someone talking, and as output can actually generate new faces. You are all familiar with machine learning by this point, convolutional neural networks. A traditional convolutional neural network takes an image or an audio or a text and gives you an answer, cat or dog. In 2017, a new type of network, a generative adversarial network, was invented. This is brand new technology, 5 years old, that is actually able to create things that were never created before. Some of these, like DALL-E 2 or Clip, recently have gone viral with AI-generated art that many of you might have seen go online. Again, synthetic faces, voices, synthetic art, all of this is synthetic media. So what we're talking about here is a large, new paradigm shift in machine learning technology. So far, deepfakes have been used to create everything from misinformation that helps promote war, basically, to funny deepfake viral videos like Tom Cruise. Again, this is something that you might have seen in the past.
If you're a pretty good climber, I want to see you climb this. Not easy to do, but with discipline and hard work. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's crazy!
That is crazy. That never happened. That's not Tom Cruise. That is an actor who's manipulated his face and his voice using deepfake technology to create content that looks 100% realistic. If you saw that video on TikTok, you would not be able to tell that's fake. And what I'm telling you now is that people, specifically certain nations, are advancing this technology to be able to do that with anyone. With a 1-minute TikTok video, 1 minute of training data of you looking into your camera and talking, they can create fake videos of you saying anything. And that's a very powerful piece of technology. Now, Deepfakes are becoming better, faster, cheaper, more believable, more prevalent. We've seen the number of deepfake videos online grow by nearly 2 times every year. The amount of content that's being produced with this technology is literally doubling every single year. We've also started to see some really interesting, more mainstream applications of this same technology. Some of you might have seen the de-aging technology used in the most recent Star Wars or used in The Irishman. Like, here's this example. This is actually an ethical example of what deepfakes can do in media and using creative tools, advancing creative tools to make something more interesting than what was previously possible.
Saying, to the best of my recollection, I must recall on my memory, I cannot remember. Offhand, that particular amount of money I borrowed, I don't know at this particular moment.
On the left there is the original, the right is the
loans,
deepfake.
Which I requested, I have. And out of all the monies I loaned during this period of time, I went into these ventures.
Ruggles! Damn it!
Again, here's a deepfake in a very extreme situation.
And you let this happen in public?
So, as we can see here, the technology is not necessarily good or bad. It's how it's applied that's important. And if you look at previous transformative technologies, like the invention of the camera, or the invention of the internet, or the invention of social media, you'll see a very similar pattern start to emerge. Very early on, they're dismissed as fads. Even the internet, even social media, even the camera was originally dismissed as a gimmick, something that people didn't take seriously. They were used to commit fraud, to commit acts of pornographic information. They were used to help promote disinformation and misinformation. And obviously with things like social media, that's still a big problem today. But all of these technologies, although they started out small, quickly, very quickly grew to massive corporations that completely changed the way we all live our lives. And we're seeing a very similar thing happen with deepfake technology. The adoption rate, the amount of money being put into this technology, the level of quality is matching these 3 same technologies almost exactly. So with this analysis, we believe that synthetic media is here to stay. It's only going to become better, more advanced. It's only going to become more prevalent in our society. There is no way to stop it, but there is a way to make sure that it is not used for evil. And that is by focusing on commercial applications. There are a host of applications for this technology that actually help promote ethics, that help promote art, that help promote creation and global communication. Everything from restoration, being able to take old content from the 1940s, 50s, in black and white, low resolution, develop it into high resolution 4K full color, thereby bridging the gap between different generations. That's a deepfake application. Creating real-time translations, which I can talk about here in a second, that take your face and your voice, but I don't speak any French. Using deepfakes, I can speak French and finally hang out in Montreal like I'm supposed to, right? We can take anyone saying anything and make them say whatever we want, but we choose to make them say something that is true and earnest to what they were originally saying, just in 50 different languages. And that is what DeepMedia is here to talk about today. We believe that the most ethical, the biggest application of synthetic media is actually universal translation. Some of you might be fans of Star Trek. I know I grew up on that show. And the idea behind universal translation is that we can use technology, specifically synthetic media, to bring people closer together. In an age where the world is suffering from global pandemics and supply chain issues and even war, we can use this exact same technology, the technology that other people are using to promote disinformation, to create a system that lets us all get on Zoom calls, on Microsoft Team calls, on phone calls. I could be speaking English. My family in India, they could be speaking Hindi. But we can finally communicate with each other as if we were speaking the same language. That can happen in real time with true emotional consistency and lip reanimation. So if you're on the other side hearing someone speak Russian, you can listen to them speak French or English and fully understand what they're saying. It looks and feels 100% real. Remember, that's the power of deepfakes and synthetic media. They look, sound, and feel 100% real. So the question is not what is this technology going to do? The question is how can we use this technology to help promote our ideals of ethics, cooperation, and international collaboration? So recently, DeepMedia has started making true advancements in this field by partnering with the United Nations. DeepMedia, just a few weeks ago, actually has announced a $1 million pledge of our services to the United Nations to help promote their content in non-official languages. That means we can take videos that they post online or videos that are happening in real time and take them into 50 major world languages. So it's not just stuck between people, speaking English or French or German, high-level politicians talking in rooms. We can actually take this content, these conversations, and bring them to the farmers in India, to the builders in China, to people all across the world who actually need to hear this. So here's an example of something we put together for the United Nations. This was actually originally in English, and you're going to hear our universal translation outputs in Spanish.
La Segunda Guerra Mundial causó una enorme destrucción y dejó grandes partes del mundo en ruinas. Por eso se crearon
This
las
is not real.
Naciones Unidas
This is a synthetically
con un
generated
objetivo
voice.
principal, para evitar la guerra en el futuro. Las Naciones Unidas son un punto de encuentro donde los líderes mundiales
We have
pueden
fine-tuned
interactuar.
control over accents, over language, over emotion, over gender. We can make anyone say anything in any language. Again, we're choosing to build the universal translator, and this is the potential here. DeepMedia is using this technology, building something that's never existed before, and delivering it to content creators, governments, and basically anyone who wants to get their content into every major world language. And so content that was originally stuck with just English speakers can now be delivered all across the world to over 3 billion new people. Same with the content in French or Korean or German. Now that content, those YouTube videos, those TikTok videos, those Netflix shows, those shows on Hulu, those films that you see in the theater, they will soon be available in every single language. And we hope that this type of effort will help promote a global culture, a global way for us to communicate and interact and connect when we all start watching the same content, liking the same movies, talking to each other on the phone in the same language. We truly believe that is a step function towards a world where we can work collaboratively and start coming a little bit closer together, making the world a little bit smaller. So when we're looking at what translation at scale really means, traditionally translation is done by human beings, right? Human beings who watch content or talk to people in one language, translate it in their head, write it down, speak it, and then stitch everything back together. Now, unfortunately, only 20% of those translators' roles are actually filled at any given time. That means that the amount of content that actually needs to be translated does not have the manpower behind it to make that happen. So this is not just about an automation to make things more efficient. This is about creating a new type of technology, a new paradigm-shifting technology that actually helps meet a demand that is not currently met and has no ability to be met by current human efforts. Additionally, we're talking about years to train into a new language. If you want to have someone translate from English to Russian or Russian to French, that takes about 5 years to train up that person for that language pairing. As we're seeing, a lot can happen in 5 years, and as new languages become important, such as Ukrainian, which became important over the course of a few months, we cannot, as a society, rely on human translators because the amount of time it takes to train those translators is just frankly insurmountable. So the result here is that a deepfake-based universal translator can operate in near real time in over 50 different languages, all automatically. We do have human beings who ensure that the translations are hyper-accurate, that the emotions are consistent. In fact, my co-founder actually speaks 5 different languages. She speaks English, Spanish, Russian, Ukrainian, and Mandarin fluently. And she is a very, very big part of why this technology is where it's at and why the technology is so good. All this goes to say is that we are really, really passionate and care a lot about making sure that this technology is used ethically and that the outputs we get from these translations are accurate and true to the original performance. So when we're looking at what the world looks like today and in the future, we're already starting to see that a lot of content creators are going global. Large corporations like Netflix, Disney, even Hulu, Amazon, all of these large content creators are investing not millions, but billions of dollars creating content that needs to serve a global audience. So it's important to know here that the market is showing us that this technology is necessary, right? We need this technology to exist because the content has to be global. people are watching more international shows, and there are more international people watching television. Right, more people like in India and China and Africa have access to the internet now, and they're expecting content that speaks to them. And the only way to get them that content at scale is through translation. Again, right now that is currently in dubbing, but as we've already seen, there's only about 20% of those roles filled. And so DeepMedia is focused a lot on making sure that our technology fits within the market. We have a lot of plans to make sure that this technology is used as widely as it can go and across everyone. But it's also important to remember that we are a business, and when we're looking at what the business can operate in, and like where we want the business to live, we've seen the most interest and the most impact it can have is in media. Taking content like television shows or movies, or most notably actually creator content on YouTube and TikTok into 50 major world languages is the way we can scale this technology. Because it's important that we scale the business side while simultaneously scaling the technology itself. So this is our plan to make sure that the technology is in every single home, on every single computer, as fast as possible. And here's what the technology actually looks like. So when we're talking about universal translation, getting things into a bunch of different languages and syncing up the lips, all of that sounds really easy to do, but it's important to know that there are experts, linguistics experts like my co-founder, who watch this content and make sure that it is truly, truly accurate. Because as everyone here I'm sure knows, the nuances between languages like French and English can often be lost in translation, right? And so if we're thinking about what does a translator do and how can technology not replace the translator, but make the translator 100 times more efficient, it's about the integration of machine learning technology, specifically synthetic media, with a linguistics and translation expert. A lot of people will tell you that AI is here to automate away jobs, and I think other corporations do think that way. At DeepMedia, it's really important to us to not remove the artist from the art. When we're talking about taking things into multiple languages, we believe that that will be best accomplished by human beings. And we're here not to replace human beings, but to create technology, tools, and products that makes human beings 100 or 1,000 times more efficient, 1,000 times better at their job. Creating content, it's 1,000 times cheaper, 1,000 times faster, and frankly, just better, because it operates in the original person's face and voice. But when we're thinking about other applications of synthetic media and universal translation, it's important to know that we have our eyes set on things like training and education, being able to democratize and globalize education so everyone, no matter where you live, has access to the same type of educational content is something that's very important to us as a corporation. Because I know a lot of my family in India doesn't have the same types of opportunity that I have, where I was able to go to an international university, a world-renowned university that had so much of the best educational material and is delivering that educational material online to people for free. You can go and basically take every single course at Yale or Harvard or MIT online for free right now, but they're only in English. So when we're thinking about ways that this technology can be used ethically, ways that can be used to help promote equality and equitability and create a world that's better for everyone, we have our eyes set on media and education. And finally, the biggest thing that we're promoting right now is around deepfake detection. So the other side of the coin here is about, look, DeepMedia, I think you all get it by now, we're a highly ethical company. At the end of the day, we're not going to do anything that's weird or creepy because we're human beings who care about other people. But there are a lot of people using this technology that don't have the same ethical standards that we do. These are the people creating fake content of President Zelensky, or even fake content of Tom Cruise or Kanye West, content that can be used to do harm and misinform and mislead people. And that's why we have promoted many resources, much of our time, and reapplying our own technology to create deepfake detection. That means we can actually detect synthetically generated faces and voices. Because we have the ability to create fake faces and voices to such a high level of precision and quality, we have the data sets and technical knowledge required to actually create detection capabilities that can outlast any other detectors on the market, but more importantly, can actually detect fake videos, which is a lot harder than it sounds. So again, we're wrapping all of this technology into product interfaces. It's really important to us that we build technology for humans, for people. At the end of the day, people are going to be the ones who are determining whether something's accurate, whether this sounds good in French and English, and whether the video is real or fake. And so we develop technology and products and tools for use by synthetic media and forensics experts to determine whether something's real or fake. And here's what that technology looks like. So that same video you saw earlier of a fake Tom Cruise that looked totally real and the average person wouldn't be able to tell it's fake. Well, because we can generate these types of fake videos, we can train different AI to actually detect them. The numbers you're going to see over here on the left are from 6 different detectors that we have built using our proprietary technology, and about 2 of them pick it up as fake. So we are able to determine that this video has been synthetically manipulated.
If you're a pretty good climber, I want to see you climb this. Not easy to do, but with discipline and hard work. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's crazy!
So it's important to know, here again, you can see that we've picked it up as fake. One of the detectors, specifically one that's looking for what's called deepfakes, has picked this up. We can determine that it has been synthetically manipulated. The face is not real. Our AI determined that the voice is real, actually, which is confirmed. It was created by a Tom Cruise impersonator. So the voice is actually real, but the face is not. And we can determine how it was created. All of those different numbers there, by interpreting those, we can determine that it was created with a specific type of deepfake algorithm, most commonly used and was developed actually by Russian machine learning scientists, and is right now open source on GitHub. So just as anyone can create these videos if they want, we are here to make sure that anyone can detect them. And so we actually just recently launched our DeepID, deepfake detector, on Twitter live. So anyone across the world, if they think a video might be fake or synthetically altered, can call our deepfake detector, and we'll run it through the system and deliver them a result totally for free. All of our detectors and our data sets are being open sourced. We're currently partnering with various US DoD as well as international agencies and some notable universities to make sure that this technology is being promoted heavily within academia and the DoD. So I'd love to spend just a couple of minutes here going over what these synthetic outputs actually look like. So you've all seen fake faces and voices. I don't want to go over that. That's kind of, in the past at this point. But one of the things that we think is really interesting are new and novel applications of this same technology. So just with the same type of AI used to create fake faces, we can actually create fake landscapes. And this is actually very important. We've seen a lot of interest in this from the DoD, US DoD, about threats, creating fake landscapes, promoting those on social media and leaking them to basically make sure that people don't know what's going on in the situation on the ground in Ukraine. So being able to generate fake landscapes helps us detect fake landscapes, which makes sure that we're all kept safe in a world that is more and more dependent on satellite imagery and drone technology. And so here's an image that looks very real. It's a picture of a suburb, houses, trees, nothing special. It's fake. It's not real, actually. That was created using a deepfake network trained on aerial imagery. And on the left there is actually or your right is our detectors. So you can see that our detectors can determine it's fake, but also what parts of it look fake. This image is real. And again, our detectors picked up that it is real. So this image here, the image is real. And finally, this image is fake. So just as we can create fake faces and voices, we can create fake content of pretty much anything and simultaneously detect fakes that are made of pretty much anything. And I think that's a really important thing to know here. The only way you can actually detect synthetically manipulated faces, voices, satellite imagery, text, whatever it is, you have to be able to generate it first. It's a cat and mouse game. The only way to be really, really good at detection is to be really, really good at generating fake content. And that was a principle that we determined 5 years ago when we first started this company, is to make sure that when we got really, really good at creating these fake faces and voices and aerial imagery, that we would release our technology to the public as an effort to promote detection. Now again, here, deepfakes can be really difficult to identify. Analysis takes a lot of manual time and is often impossible. The mass amounts of content that we're seeing being promoted online means that human efforts alone by themselves will just not be enough to make a dent in synthetic disinformation, and that people are already capitalizing on this. We've seen fake videos of President Zelensky, fake videos of the mayor of Kiev online being promoted to help promote Russia's war efforts. So this is not something that's a potential threat. This is a threat going on right now that DeepMedia is actively fighting against. And so I prepared some slides here that go into detail on how the technology actually works. I'll make this available to anyone watching here or online if you want more information. There's a few different types of synthetic media. It gets really complicated really fast. There's a couple fun demos. Again, here's a way that we can take a picture of anyone and change all of their attributes using minute details. This is actually an underlying synthetic media called StyleGAN, a synthetic media network called StyleGAN that is actually a backbone to a lot of other synthetically manipulated content. Here's one that came out of a lab recently that is able to create highly realistic synthetic manipulations from just a picture. So very soon people will be able to take just a picture of you and make you say anything or do anything. And then we also get into lip-driven animation. So we can sync up the mouth and the lips. This is what we're doing with our universal translator. And so again, here we also have synthetic voice, right? Our system is really based on the integration between translation, synthetic voice, and synthetic face. And again, that's why we're so able to accurately and efficiently detect all of this type of content. Again, this is a fake video created by Russian agents in February at the start of the Russian invasion. We detected that it was fake immediately. So finally, I'd like to leave you with one more idea here. In a world that has universal translation, we believe that it's not an end to war. It's not an end to global problems, but we believe that it is the beginning of the solution. A solution that's built in cooperation between all major nations, between every person, no matter what language you speak. And this is the future that we believe in.
We're back at the table in international forums, especially the United Nations. 为了集中注意力，并刺激全球行动应对共同的挑战，我们正在重新参与在世界卫生组织，和工作紧密合作与科瓦奇公司合作，um lebensrettende Impfstoffe in die Welt zu bringen. Wir sind dem Pariser Klimaabkommen beigetreten. Und wir kandidieren nächstes Jahr wieder einen Sitz im Menschenrechtsrat bei der UNO. В то время как Соединенные Штаты стремятся объединить мировые действия, мы будем лидировать не только ради примера нашей силы, но и с Божьей помощью, силой нашего примера. Не заблуждайтесь. Соединенные Штаты будут продолжать защищать себя, наших союзников и наши интересы от нападения, включая террористические угрозы. Comme nous sommes prêts à utiliser la force si cela s'avère nécessaire, mais pour défendre les intérêts nationaux vitaux des États-Unis, y compris contre les menaces actuelles et imminentes. The mission must be clear and achievable.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very enlightening and very informative. Do we have any questions right now for Mr. Yep, go ahead. We're going to pass the microphone.
Where can we go to check if the video or the image is a fake one or not for free?
Of course. So right now, our Deep ID detection is live on Twitter. If you have the video on Twitter or a link to it, just tag us at DeepMedia, and our algorithm will automatically pull that video, run it through our detector, and reply with the results.
Any other questions for the time being? Over here.
For the deepfake detection that you mentioned, what is the typical confidence level that you have?
So right now, our confidence level hovers around 95%. Industry standard and research is about 80%. So we are higher than any other deepfake detector that's live right now. We're working really, really hard to get that to 99.9%, which we believe we'll be able to achieve by the middle of next year.
Anyone else?
Hello. So in the same way that multiple languages can like ease the education and all those domains, can it not like ease misinformation in multiple languages?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So this technology, like any other technology, is inherently not bad or good, right? It's how it's applied and it's how it's protected. So we take our responsibility here very, very seriously. That's why we've kept our ability to create synthetically manipulated faces and voices under a walled garden approach. Right now, to currently access our universal translator, it has to be done through a business relationship with us. We're choosing to partner with certain organizations like large streaming companies. YouTubers with right now over 25 million followers are currently using our platform right now, as well as the United Nations and federal government. Someone comes to us, we take a very serious and clear analytical approach to whether we believe that their content promotes ethics, and in general it's, you know, for lack of a better word, good. If we feel that it doesn't meet those standards, then we decide not to move forward with them.
I just want to touch on that point, Rijul, because it's just interesting to think about the legislation that does or doesn't currently exist around it. We're talking about the application of technology, not the technology being inherently good or bad. So I'm asking if you can actually talk a little bit about, does legislation exist? Does this look like a gun control type of argument where, you know, guns don't kill people, people kill people? Can you respond to that a little bit?
Yeah, so right now regulation does not currently exist for this type of technology. I think most corporations would never say, we want to regulate, we want the government to regulate us, they want to self-regulate, right? Again, we're not like most corporations. We're actual human beings at the end of the day. Myself and my co-founder, we take ethics very, very seriously. So we're actually currently working with US politicians on Capitol Hill to write, draft, and implement legislation that makes this technology fully regulated. We believe that through regulation it can be used ethically, but there needs to be legal remedies for people who have had their face and voice manipulated in ways that they don't want that to be.
Yeah, for sure. No, and fundamentally, you're almost like through this technology kind of implementing a new wave of globalization, right, in and of itself. You're kind of clashing cultures in a way that's been like unprecedented.
Yeah, right. I think that's really cool, right? I mean, there are going to be weird things that happen for sure, but I think there's going to be a lot of fun things that happen too. Like being able to take some of my favorite Bollywood movies into English and French and share them with all my friends, you know, in North America. I'm really excited about that.
Well, I mean, it's very like innovative and avant-garde. So I think we're all learning. I think there was one more question at the back. Okay, we'll just. Thanks for your patience. Here you go.
Hi, thank you. I was wondering if you can speak to what brands can do to protect themselves against these deep fakes. I read that, you know, you can just post like a video, very short video of your CEO on social media, and that could be used against you eventually.
Yeah, that's a good point. The question is, what can brands do to help protect themselves against synthetically manipulated content? Right now, unfortunately, there's not a lot. We're currently working with our Deep ID technology to integrate it into social media platforms from the top down, as well as video conferencing platforms to make sure that before anything, in between someone posting it and it actually going live, it will be run through a deepfake detector to help ensure that it's real. But currently that technology is not integrated into these platforms. So the honest truth is that there's really nothing anyone can do aside from, you know, working on deepfake detection to protect themselves.
Do we have any final questions before we wrap up this session? Rijul, I want to thank you. That was really enlightening. It was a great way to end the day. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And best of luck with your technology. It's fantastic. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for being with us today. We look forward to another great day tomorrow. Check out everything online, as you guys know how to do. And thanks for being with us. Have a great rest of your evening.